I want us to understand the issue of arms proliferation within the context of criminal economies that are at work. This criminal economy is not a Nigerian problem per se, it is a worldwide problem. In other parts of the planet, Southeast Asia, this issue is still in debate and government action is going on. Even among the European countries, this issue of illicit arms and proliferation are very, very dominant. And by the way, what constitutes these illicit and small arms? It consists of weapons like pistol, AK-47, any man-portable guns and equipment and explosives that an individual or group can easily carry with ease. That's why we call it man-portable. Some concealed in their bodies, some concealed in their luggage, is all over. The circumstances or the reasons why this prevail is, as I said earlier, because of a criminal economy that is at work, and it's not only us here. If you look at it holistically, from the external perspective, one, we have issues of insecurity within the Maghreb. In the early part of this century, the Maghrebian countries, mainly North African countries consisting of Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, and to an extent Libya, were all aware of the turmoil and associated situations that existed there. Then coming down nearer to the Sahelian Africa, which is our immediate neighbor, countries of Mali, Niger, Chad, and to an extent, Sierra Leone. The situation existing in that axis has actually created a more endangering arms proliferation situation. And we even, our Lake Chad region is still part of the Sahelian Africa, so to speak. So there are issues and situations existing, as I said, from the Maghreb region to the Sahelian region and cascading to our own area here. And of course, even the Gulf of Guinea is a turbulent zone of the continent that activities there has enabled many arms to go undetected, as well as the Horn of Africa, which are very, very, as we call it in criminal and notorious facts. These are established facts that does not require further debate. That is one angle. Then within the context of our internal existence, there are many, many dysfunctional situations excuse me, that has given rise or is increasing the crescendo of small arms in Nigeria, particularly lack of proper governance at the grassroots, lack of cohesion, coming back to lack of social contract between the citizens and the government, and community strife, and basically the inexistence of government at the local level. Since local government were destroyed in this country in the last 20 years, arising from the usurpation of their basic powers by the governors, we discovered that local government no longer exists, providing security control and valves to hold people down to be accountable for what they carry at the local level is not there. And considering the kind of ethnicity we play in our country, the kind of some reasonable level of policy of exclusion and the economic annihilation of some groups or some persons tends to exacerbate the issue of small arms. And beside that, as I said internally, small arms, of course, has been with us, only that is not used for criminal economy. As you can recollect, as far back as 1959, even during the colonial era, firearms contract was enacted by the colonial government. That is to say, at that time, even government was still conscious that small arms were already proliferating in the country. And conscious effort need to be done to control it. It was not really effective until other further legislation till this day in terms of what Dr. Kebiru described. That is one aspect. And excuse me, I want to remind ourselves too that small arms has been part of our system, maybe largely because of our own kind of colonial experience, so to speak, arising from the British colonial policy of gunboat diplomacy that actually involved subtle use of arms to force communities and persons to submit to British authority in many ways, actually created a culture of people having arms. It equally predates to the era of transnational organizations, particularly colonial entrepreneurs, bringing guns to communities, gunpowder, gun itself. Actually, the small arm holding of our country started building up over that time. But in the present circumstance, the factors are very clear. As I said earlier, the issues surrounding our strategic neighbors is a worldwide phenomenon, and the lack of governmental cohesion and lack of exclusion, it has added up. But like as we said earlier, as my learned speaker here said earlier, it's kind of work in progress. Legislation exists, governmental control. Even a summit has taken place, African summit, on this subject matter. Organized to identify lapses, explore possibilities, and innovate action plan to reduce the trend. So the point we are making, or the point I'm submitting at this forum, is that arms control or proliferation is an existential threat. Government effort and individual effort to bring this into manageable proportion is a necessity of our existence. And I would like us to really look at this from the perspective and all society approach, not only government approach, because all of us, government, individuals, community organizations, we have some role to play in checkmating and controlling or monitoring arms movement in the country. And I'm happy to take the note that our government has taken more proactive action. They have set up the National Center for Control of Small and Light Arms, whose act is awaiting presidential assent to make them to be highly operational, just like Dr. Kabir pointed out earlier on. Some other associated activities going on. But the important thing is that it's a threat